In the year 1560, King Sai Satilad relocated the capital of his kingdom of Lanzan from Luang Prabang to Vientiane. Almost immediately, he set about defending the city by building two protective walls, one encompassing the other. The inner wall was 4 meters high, 3 meters thick, and 5 kilometers in length, ringed by a moat and pierced by several entrance gates. The second outer perimeter wall was 5 meters high, 1.5 meters wide, and a little over 14 kilometers in length. Walls were constructed using locally kilned bricks mixed with clay instead of rough cast in order to finish the work quickly. These were topped with bi-semi-crenellations to repel arrows. The bi-semi were 1.5 meters high, between 1.5 and 2 meters wide, and 80 centimeters thick, with 40 centimeter gaps in between for access by archers and soldiers. Today, similar, although much smaller bi-semi, may be seen adorning the exterior walls of Buddhist temples throughout the city. To the immediate west of the Phra That Luang monument, in between these two walls, was a rectangular earth-made rampart, partially moated, that predated the other two walls by several centuries. Scholars believe this rampart possibly dates to the 12th century, and may even have been the earliest city wall in Vientiane. And given the religious significance of the area around the Phra That Luang, being in ascendance before the advent of the Lanzan kingdom, it may even have enclosed the ancient capital of the Hmong kingdom known as Kandapuri. Traces of this rampart may be seen today to the north of the Phra That Luang in Ban Hong Sen. And another section of this rampart is close to the Lao American College in Ban Suan, lately enclosed behind a protective wall, together with its own spirit house, funding being provided by the college. Today, very little evidence remains of Vientiane's inner wall. Suggestion has it, though, that this wall started at the confluence of the Pak Pasak and Mekong rivers, just west of the present-day Wat Chanthaburi. Running northwards, the wall followed what is now Thanon KHOUNBOULOM. Passing Wat In Peng on its way, and the former Russian Cultural Center. Turning eastwards at the Opera House. The walls continued through Ban Sehon, skirting the old National Stadium, restored Colonial Mansion, now the Seta Palace Hotel, before returning in a southwest direction towards the Talaksao, or morning market. The wall continued along what is now Thanon Kun Vieng, passing the bus station on its way. Along this stretch of the wall, the embankment and former moat are clearly visible, and provide quite a rural aspect to this part of the city. Ancient flame trees give form to this part of the road and much needed shade to the many tiny shops and restaurants along its course. Small roads leading off to the sides all have steep inclines, giving further evidence that a walled embankment existed along here. Continuing along NGOUM, we come to the building housing the People's Supreme Court. And next door, the office of the Supreme People's Prosecutor of the People's Democratic Republic of Laos. Finally, as the road bends to the south, towards the Mekong River, the embankment and moat become overgrown, the moat finally disappearing into a culvert. The embankment ceases, and in its place a small formal garden has been created. Here the wall finished as it met the banks of the River Mekong, the rich alluvial soil providing a living for small holdings and market garden. The focus of the inner wall was on protecting the city centre area around the royal palace. Now bordered to the south by Thanon Pham Nung, providing the garden entrance to the President's Palace complex. Thanon Chantakunon in the east, Thanon Samthentai in the north, now home to the works offices of Lao Electricity, several restored colonial houses, and a restaurant. Completing the rectangular area, Thanon Mahasot, containing the garden entrance to Ho Pra Khao and home to the Education Printing House, a former boarding school. The city centre area today includes the Presidential Palace, Wat Sisaket, believed to be Vientiane's oldest surviving Buddhist temple, the Ho Pra Khao, once a royal temple built to house the famed Emerald Buddha, now in Bangkok. The Ministry of Information and Culture, finally the Ministry of Education. The only substantial surviving sections of Vientiane's city walls are those of the outer perimeter wall, believed to have stretched for some 30 kilometers. This was constructed for defensive purposes between 770 and 1828 against the renewed threats of a Siamese invasion. In reality, it proved no match for the Siamese troops. A significant surviving section of this wall is a 25-metre intact portion located in Bang Nong Hai Thai, complete with a canopy to protect the best preserved part from the weather. Next to this canopy is the Vientiane's City Walls Research and Exhibition Centre. This was built in the year 2000 with sponsorship from UNESCO. However, with ongoing problems with funding, the museum remains closed.